Hello everyone and welcome back to Black Cats TV. I'm back. We'll be doing a lot more videos this week, but it's just a very quick one because since we've last done a video, which was 4 days ago now, where we did something about the players exiting, and then we had Diarra's first goal as one of our shorts as well. There's been quite a bit of change in news. I want to say the ever revolving door, but it's only inward players coming in. We haven't got anybody else leaving or anything yet. Rumours of leaving, but nothing's confirmed yet or anything. But before I get into it, please do like and subscribe. It really does help us out if you could like it right now, like it says there. And if you could subscribe, we're about 2,235. So, we seem to do pretty well on these ones. So if you wouldn't mind getting us close to 2,300, really appreciate it. And I'll stop talking about it now. So, signings. So, since we've last spoke, we have, of course, signed a new left-back on a 2-year deal. Arthur Masuaku, 2-year deal, 10th signing for us so far. Did play in the Premier League before with West Ham. I think he played about 105 games for them before going over to Besiktas, which I think he just gone. And obviously we've then picked him up on a free. So when we were talking before about needing, Premier League experience, this is another absolute brilliant signing for me. I thought he was a really good player at West Ham. And if you ask any West Ham fans, I'm sure they'll think very highly of him as well. Of course, time naturally just came to an end and he moved on to Besiktas, as it were. I think he scored 1 goal in his time, which was a winner against Chelsea in a 3-2. I can't remember which year it was, but I seem to remember he definitely scored like a really bizarre winner where you would think he was crossing from there, but he smashed it into the top corner, and Mendy in goal couldn't keep it out. So he does have a goal in him, albeit 1. Same nationality as Siddique, so he's been doing an interview as well saying about how, we don't quite understand yet how much of a talent we've got on our hands in Siddique. So I think it's nice that we've got, a young lad in Siddique and an older lad in Masuaku, both, here to help each other get, settled and sorted in the team there. So for me, absolute great sign and wealth of experience, and means that if it does come to it, which means that if we did get didn't get another centre half, then we could move Ronaldo into the middle and Masuaku out left. However, there was another signing, of course. This is the 11th one, and we did get a centre half. So it is Omar Alarete, I think is how I say it there. He's going to wear the number 15 at Sunderland. How do I know that, you ask? Well, they had a picture with his shirt on. There it is. Now, I do have to say I am really not a fan of that big blocked out panel on the back of the shirt. I know they have to do it under Premier League rules, but it's not nice. And why can't the letters be in red? Just help us out. Put them in red. At least then it would feel a bit like a continuation, shall we say. But yeah, a centre-back. I think he signed on a 4-year deal coming from Getafe around about 10 or 11 million pound mark. We were just reading some stats on him before, which is in the top 5 leagues for a centre-back, he had the 3rd most long passes completed. You can see there just under Bournemouth's Zarabini, the one who's gone to PSG, and of course Anderson at Fulham. Then it was him, of course, and he's up ahead of Van Hecke there from Brighton. As well as that, he was quite a progressive action rate of a centre-back, so came out, as you can see from the blue line underneath, he's well and above the next person on there for progressing the ball out. So that'll be really handy for us as well. And from what I've read, he's not one for dicking about in the defence, and very much just get it clear or get it out or I'll bring it out sort of thing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him, hopefully for his debut on Saturday against West Ham, if he gets it in time. I know Xhaka played almost the day after he physically arrived up in Sunderland, so stranger things have happened. I think it just gives us a bit of a better chance rather than, no offense to him, but Sealed and Ballard. I think him and Ballard would be much better. But that's the 2 signings we've made so far. So 10 and 11. I think the record for signings in a single window is still held by Nottingham Forest at 21. So we've got 10 to go if we want to rival them. In terms of money, though, you can see on the screen there, that puts us just shy, I say, of £150 million spent on players. Like, if you'd have told me that 3 months ago that we would be in the Premier League and we'd have spent £150 million on players, I'd have probably thought you were mad. It's not the Sunderland way. That's not the way we do things. I would have been like, well, who have we sold? That's got to have been Rigg. That's got to have been Bellingham. That's got to have been Watson. Maybe, a Mayenda, a Ballard, like a Patterson. To even get near, I don't even think I'm brushing 100 there, probably, or just about. If I'm being, harsh on them, there might be. But it's what a time to be a Sunderland fan, of course. There, so. Just moving on to, before we go into any other rumours, there was a outgoing rumour. We've seen here with Ben Jacobs that Hume, subject to a potential bid, I do emphasise on potential, and we'll get to that in a minute, from Wolfsburg, made for about £10 million, but obviously he's very important to Sunderland as we viewed him as a leader on and off the field. I've said it for a long time. I thought he probably should be a captain of ours, probably behind Xhaka now, but I love Hume, captain of Northern Ireland several times, so I think he's definitely got that ability. But Keith Downey had put out, I am reading from the Sunderland Echo here, Wolfsburg do have interest in Hume, but I'm unaware of any official bids made to Sunderland at this stage. Sunderland have been made aware of the interest in the right back, but the 23-year-old, can't believe he's 23, it's mental, like how good he is at that age. 23-year-old has 2 years plus an option of another year on his deal. The club want to tie him down to a more lucrative deal since gaining promotion. Wolfsburg are willing to pay 7.5. I don't even think that would get his right foot. Like, he's worth way more than that. But Sunderland don't want to sell and value him much higher. Thank you. I agree. That's exactly what I said. Speaking during the preseason training camp last season, Hume made a point of playing down in transfer speculation, telling me, I don't think about it at all. I let my agent and the club deal with that. I don't want to think about it at all. I want to focus on my football. And I've always said I love my football here at Sunderland. So it really is as simple as that. What a guy. What an absolute legend. And I love him. So, yeah, hopefully, that's just quashed straight away and they don't come back at all or anything like that, because I love Hume and I think he's fantastic. And I do think he's one of the ones that will be vital for us staying up. I think he's got the ability to do that. Same with Ballard in the defence. So, yeah, hands off. So, I think there's a couple more rumours here. The one that I know people keep asking for in our comments is Lennon Miller, but it looks like he's going to Udinese, if you will. Motherwell prodigy Lennon Miller looks to be on the cusp of a move to the Italian outfit. Teenager has caught the eye with a series of impressive displays since making its breakthrough into the first team at Fir Park, and was touted as a target for the likes of Sunderland and Celtic this summer, but it would appear Miller will instead play his football in Italian top flight. Barry Anderson of the Edinburgh Evening News said Lennon Miller heading to Udinese for about 4.5 million. Another top move for Serie A young Scotland international. Are they talking about Billy Gilmore at Napoli? That's probably where. Oh, and Scott McTominay, I suppose, as well. So they've got a history of sending some Scottish players over there and doing quite well. So maybe we'll get him when he comes back and he's even better there. So doesn't look like we're getting Lennon Miller. Potential left-sided player, touted to be the next Jack Clark. I am reading a lot of these off the Echo. There was loads of ones on X, but sometimes you can't quite tell where it's come from. So it was easier just to go to the Echo and do it there. But Bournemouth are cooling their interest on reported Sunderland target Amin Adil. The Bayer Leverkusen winger has been widely linked with an exit in recent weeks, with suggestions that a number of clubs from both Premier League and beyond, what's beyond the Premier League, are monitoring the situation. It's like Buzz Lightyear, that. According to Continental journalist Julian Lorenz, hope I'm butchering that name there, the likes of Sunderland, Wolves and West Ham are keeping an eye on a deal with a view to making prospective moves. Yeah, I mean, it would be an all right one. I think, are we looking at that because Mundell's injured and probably out for a while? I know Enzo can play out there, and we've got Adingra will play out there as well. So I don't know if we're just looking at options, but interesting if we went back to Bayer Leverkusen and said, can we have another one of your players after being told that Xhaka wasn't coming, and yet Xhaka's here now and he's one of ours. So it'd be interesting to see how we'd get a deal done for him. But stranger things have happened, and we'll have to watch this space. I don't feel a winger is exactly what we need at the moment. I think when we've been talking about, obviously we've signed a left back and the centre back that we just talked about, I still think another centre back is really important. Keeping Hume's obviously really important as well. But a big one for me is getting a proven striker. Love Mayenda. I think he's fantastic, but he's not exactly been smashing them in pre-season. Isidore has not had many minutes. Mark Dew looks to be injured. Might be talking about that in our preview video this week, so keep an eye out for that one. But the rumoured one at the minute, and I'm really sorry I'm going to butcher his name here, so again, in the comments, just get it written down for me there. Sunderland will have to pay upwards of 23.3 million. It's not a problem. We can easily afford that. For AS Roma's Artem Dovbyk this summer, according to reports in Italy. The Ukrainian has emerged as an ambitious, I love the word ambitious, the ambitious project at Sunderland transfer target for the Black Cats in recent days, with initial claims from journalists, I can't read that name either, stating that Reggie Lebrie's men, as well as Premier League rivals West Ham and Leeds, have shown interest in the 28-year-old. West Ham, Sunderland, Leeds have shown interest. You've just written the same thing twice there. And his report collaborated by, oh my God, these names, who go with some way to paying for his exit, blah, blah, blah. I wonder if it's a link to do with the fact that our, I don't want to say director of football, but that bloke who came from Roma is heavily linked to him, because, of course, he'll have brought him in at Roma. And I think, as we can see here, so Ukrainian, 28, contracted until 2029, which might be the big problem just because of how much we're going to have to pay there. Centre forward, left-footed, 6'2", shorter than me, by the way, valued at around 30 million. That's jumped up from 23.3 before. But in La Liga, he scored 24 goals in 36 appearances in the 23-24 season. And last season in Serie A, he scored 12 goals in 32 appearances. So he knows where the net is. And I'm hoping that again, I forget his name, but the guy we've got in from Roma behind the scenes on there might be able to pull off an absolute masterclass and get this guy to Sunderland. There was rumours earlier on in the week of like a mystery striker that is coming in that apparently people don't seem to know about. Now, there was talks of it being Welbeck. There was talks of it being Garcia from Real Madrid. You know, unfortunately, it's not true. But, of course, Danny Graham was, of course, put out there as well. But that third dance, why not? At least it's not Jermaine Defoe again, just for that one. But, yeah, I mean, all these players would be fantastic. It's not that I'm not convinced on a deal. I just don't think it's a priority position. I really want another centre-back, and I really want a striker as my two at the moment. I don't know if anyone's watched the pre-season games, but obviously I think we're playing really well, but we just seem to lack that cutting instinct at the moment. And I don't know if that's just because it's pre-season, and we saw at the end of last season when we were waiting for the playoffs that he sort of Libri held us back a bit, and I suppose was sort of keeping our cards close to our chest, and hopefully we turn up on Saturday against West Ham and blitz them away. But we'll see. So those are all the ones that I've got so far. So again, I'm going to ask you now, please like this video and hit the subscribe button. It really does help us out. We'll have a video out this week on our predictions on where we think Premier League's going to end. Mine and Mike's are somewhat different, shall we say, somewhat different. One of us is a lot more optimistic than the other. We'll have a video, of course, out for the match preview. So if you remember from last season, if you're new and you've not seen it, last season we used to do the previews, and all you had to do was put a comment in on the preview or on a live stream if we did one of what you thought the score was going to be. So, if, for example, Sunderland 2-0 against West Ham, if you got it right, you got a point and you ended up on our leaderboard, as you can see here, which was won by a lovely lad called Lee. He only got 3 right, but we only started doing it in January. You've got to get the exact score. Results don't matter. It's got to be the exact score just for a single point, just to win some goodies at the end of the season from us. So we keep it going just to basically see, you know, who's going to be the best from it there, and just, you know, bit of fun. Why not? Get your name on the leaderboard as well. So that'll be coming up in the preview this week. As well as that, I believe Mike is doing a live stream for us on Saturday of the game against West Ham. So please do join us for that. I'll be at the game, of course, there. So I'll try and get some footage if we've got any, you know, new tifos or anything like that, just to see what's going on. But yeah, we've got quite a bit coming out this week, and we've finally entered our busy schedule after 3 months off. So yeah, it's what we've been waiting for since that day in May. We're finally on the week of the Premier League season, just 5 days to go. So yeah, looking forward to it, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully. So yeah, take care, everyone, and see you later on. Bye-bye now.